Hi and welcome back to my channel. I am Caspian and I read a lot of books, mainly library books. And I'm here today to talk about two of my most recent reads, and also a Netflix series that I finally got to watch because I have finally read all of the books in that series. So I'm gonna start there, and I'm gonna have chapters here. If you don't want to hear me ramble on about that, you can just skip to the chapter about the other book that I have read recently. But I'm gonna start with Bridgerton. So this is the 8th book in the Bridgerton series, and this is the book about the youngest member of the family, Gregory. So the original title of this book is On the Way to the Wedding. So I don't know how much you have. Well, I'm gonna be quite spoilery in this video, so if you haven't read this one, then skip ahead to where I talk about the series, because I'm gonna try and talk about this first and then the series. But I will mention, all of the characters in that part as well, so maybe you just want to skip ahead to the other book if you don't want to hear me talk about or spoil Bridgerton for you. But I know I'm kind of late to the game, so odds are you know more than I have up until now anyway. Okay, so in this 8th book we follow Gregory, and he views himself as a true romantic. He meets Hermione and he gets like this she's the one kind of feeling, but she's not interested at all. But her best friend Lucy thinks that Gregory is way better than the person that Hermione is interested in, so Lucy aims to help Gregory. And you can all guess maybe where this is going. Eventually Gregory and Lucy find each other during this process, and I really enjoyed this book. I think this was one of my favorites in this series. Actually, I really enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed the dynamic between Lucy and Gregory, and I enjoyed the personal growth of both Lucy. Well, Lucy was kind of the same, but she was a strong character from the get-go, I think. But I enjoyed the character growth and the journey that we follow with Gregory as well as Hermione. So I really enjoyed this one. And yeah, I think I gave it a 5-star rating, and I annotated it. I don't know if you see that, but there's like, yeah, I color coordinated so there's a lot of that, and I also used like the orange. It's different shades of orange all over it. And so now I'm gonna talk about Bridgerton overall before I get into the series. So what I really enjoy about the Bridgerton books, and I might be, alone in this, but I really do enjoy, it's like a cozy read for me. It's like a comfort read to pick up one of these books and know that I'm gonna have a good time. And I think they are very well written in the sense that even though they are set in like the 1880s, the first book, and then going out into the 1920s eventually with the last book, I feel like, you can write that era in different ways. And I've read books that feel like they need to use like slurs that were popular during that time, and views, like they have to really put emphasis on the view of society and how people behaved and how they talked and that sort of thing. and keep the derogatory terms. I think you know what I'm talking about. And I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy when books feel like, or authors feel like they need to highlight those things. I understand that some books have the purpose of highlighting society. So maybe it's depending on the purpose of the book. So I think Bridgerton was written. It's interesting because I feel like it was written both for entertainment but also for highlighting some aspects, because it's not completely tone deaf to the struggles of the time. It often pops up as like under like smaller plot lines or like issues that are acknowledged during the series. And I think this author Julia Quinn has done that in a really good way to keep the entertainment value high. It's if they were written during the 1920s, 30s, whatever, then I can see that, okay, this author who lived in a world where these terms were still used, so it's not, of course they're gonna pop up. But if you're writing a book in the 21st century and you're trying to depict an era that has been, you can do that in different ways, right? So because I'm actually currently reading another book that I'm going to talk about in a future reading update, where the author has made the choice to keep some of the derogatory terms and slurs from the 1920s. No, 1889. So it's like the same era, 1890s. Unless this one. So and I don't enjoy that. It takes me out of the story when people do that. I'm like, ugh. It doesn't engage me. It engages me when the author highlights issues directly yet subtly because they don't use the words. I hope you understand what I mean. It's like you don't have to show that someone is racist by having them use racist slurs. There's a lot of the other ways to show us that is a racist person, and that is something that society maybe encourages or doesn't think like society around that person encourages it, or that person is a product of their environment and their time. You can show that in different ways. And I think what I'm getting at is that I enjoy that the Bridgerton books, they are entertaining, but they aren't tone deaf and blind to the issues of the time. And I think that is highlighted even more in the series, because in the Netflix series, so now I'm going to talk about the book and the Netflix series. So in the Netflix series, one thing that I enjoyed, because I waited until I had read all of the 8 books, because I was like, okay, they're probably not gonna dedicate one season to each book. So I don't know when they're gonna pop up, because in the books, the love stories that the book centers around are, they are not like one person meets their person and then the next one. It doesn't happen like one at a time. Of course, there's like intermingling, and there's relationships going on left and right during a period of time. And because in one book, I think we read about one that was, Francesca, I think, was already married in her book, and then her story began because her husband died, and so she got married earlier. And I hadn't read Francesca's book when her marriage was mentioned, so I was like, oh, she got married earlier, and we're gonna learn about that later. So when I chose to wait to see to watch the Netflix series, I did that because I thought, okay, so I don't know in which order they're gonna put things, you know. So yeah, that's a choice I made, and I think I have seen 4 seasons now. Can that be true? And because I am up to date with the Netflix series, and we have just seen Francesca in the Netflix series losing her husband. So and that's the season 4. So I'm glad I read all of the books first. But anyway, in the Netflix series, as you probably know, the society that they live in has been shaped by the fact that the king married a woman of color. So the queen is a woman of color, and that shaped the society. And when we enter into the first season, it's a multicultural society already, because the Queen Charlotte has been married to the king for so long that changes have been made. So there's really no there are classes, there are layers to the society, but they are not bound to color of the skin, and the color of the skin doesn't make you lower class as it used to. So the books are not that, but I don't think their intent, I don't know if the author intended the books to be multicultural as well, because one thing that I was amazed by in the series on Netflix was how much of Queen Charlotte there is, because she's not really mentioned in the books. I was like, yeah, okay, Queen Charlotte, yeah, there's a queen, but she wasn't a character in that way. The main character that has the same, not the main character in the books, but like one of the main characters that have the same kind of role as the queen does in the series is Lady Danbury in the books. So Lady Danbury is a bigger part of the books than the queen is. Made really bigger part, much bigger part. And so when I watched the Netflix series, I was like, oh, okay, they made this choice when they made the series, and I was like, but isn't that the case in the books? But it isn't. I think I need to read all of them again, because to be honest, I pictured people of different color in the books as well. I didn't picture them all as white. I didn't. The only people I pictured as white, like across the board, were the Bridgertons, because in the books it states that all of the Bridgertons have the same colors of, the dark brown hair and the color of the eyes, which I think is brown. But they are depicted as very uniform in color, because people can say they can meet a Bridgerton and know that that's a Bridgerton in the books. So that is something, when I watched the Netflix series, I was like, why is Daphne blonde? Why is she light? Why is her hair lighter color? And Francesca's also have a lighter color hair than the other Bridgertons, and I did not really approve of that. Well, I do approve of it. I do understand that they make concessions when they make the series. And the mom, Violet, wasn't as dark-haired as I had imagined either. So, I know that when you turn something into a movie or a series, you need to change stuff, and you adapt. It's adaptations, it's not taking it. This is not the script of the series. I understand that, but it's something you need to get used to. When you have read the books and you picture the people in your head and you're like, That's Anthony. And I did think that the Bridgerton brothers in the series on Netflix were not at all like they are in the books. I liked them way much better in the books than I did in the Netflix series, I have to say. There was a lot of things to get used to when I watched the series, especially with the characters. They had changed the characters quite a lot. And so I liked the fact that the society was built the way it was. It was much more in line with how I viewed Bridgerton, but I also liked the fact that they had chosen to do that, to be able to include a lot of different people. I did enjoy that they had some LGBTQ representation, because okay, I know that people right now are talking a lot about Francesca's upcoming romance and that sort of thing, and that that's gonna be a true queer relationship in, I think, and romance in the series. But we mustn't forget that one of the brothers have been bisexual. Like, I can't believe that in this day and age, when we finally have some bisexual representation, people just don't talk about it. I haven't heard anyone talk about that. And I was like, good. And it's like, how can we have bisexual representation and bisexual erasure in the same sentence almost? Like, how can we show so much of it and then yet still not acknowledge it when we talk about it? But I have only viewed people that have read the books and then viewed the Netflix series and talked about both. I haven't viewed any reviews of the series in and of itself because I wanted to wait to watch anything about the series until I have read all the books and watched the series myself. So maybe people are talking about it more, but I would have expected like more, just more. I'm disappointed, but I'm probably gonna view some more content about Bridgerton, and maybe people are talking about that, because I really enjoyed that interlude in the series where one of the brothers just went on this journey of exploration, and then when he meets his love interest in the series, he tells her right away that he's had relationships and that he's had love with both men and women. So that is, he is stating, not with the words bisexual or pansexual or whatever, but he is stating in the series that he feels for both, and that he can love both genders, or two and more genders. So yeah. So what didn't I like? Or have I talked about everything? No, I haven't. I did not enjoy. So when I watched the series, I mixed up Francesca and Eloise. I thought that they were just gonna, so I just mixed them up. Okay, so I was waiting for Francesca to run away to the countryside. And I was like, what's happening? But then I realized that it's Eloise that does that in the book, and I also saw some people talk about the book versus the series, and how Eloise is like, her story hasn't developed yet, and people are wondering what they're gonna do about that. So that is still to come. So maybe I will talk more about this when I have seen more of the series, when more of the series has come out and we find out what happens to Francesca and her love story, and what happens to Eloise if she gets a love story. Because at one point in the series she was whisked away to the countryside, or she ran away to the countryside, but it was more like, I can't stand societal rules, I need a break, I will go over here for now. And then she just came back and nothing had happened, except that she had apparently talked to sheep a lot. And I was like, but wasn't she supposed to meet Sir Philip? And then as someone else pointed out, we have met Sir Philip already, because Sir Philip married Colin's first love interest. So they mixed up the characters a bit. So I'm intrigued to see how everything comes together. And when you've read the books, I have read the books, and I really feel like everyone deserves love in whatever shape or form. And if Eloise is going to be a spinster or an old maid in the series, I can live with that as long as it's her choice, and they really make that a part of her heroine journey. Like, if that's a part of her finding herself and realizing that she's asexual or whatever, then I'm for it. I'm looking forward to seeing where we go. I think it was more negative towards this TV show, the Netflix series, before I watched other YouTubers talk about the book versus the series. But so far I'm a bit disappointed in some aspects, and that's fine. I think I do tend to not watch adaptations after reading books, because I'm usually disappointed. So this was kind of out of character for me. But yeah, it was almost 2 years ago since I read the first book, so I'm looking forward to rereading them, and I hope to reread some of them before I watch the next season of the Netflix series. I think I'm gonna do that this summer if I have time to do that. We'll see. It's not high on my priority list, but it's higher than rereading some of my other books at the moment because of the series. So, yeah. So, after talking about Bridgerton for so long in this video, I think I'm gonna dedicate this little video to Bridgerton. So, that's it from me today, guys. I will see you soon. Happy reading. I hope you enjoy your current read, and talk to you soon. Xingling.